Almost 5:30 Wednesday. What is it? What is the date? Is it the 15th of January 2025? Reports not what an hour ago that a Gaza ceasefire agreement has been reached. We're trying to make sure we give this as it happens. Donald Trump said there has been an agreement. Hostages will be released. The Israeli government officials have just said that they will vote on this Gaza deal tomorrow. And according to more reports that we have at Talk, the deal requires 33 of the 94 hostages to be released in that first 6-week phase, with at least 3 hostages freed every week in that period. Nothing from Hamas. It's going to be voted on by the Israelis tomorrow. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to go now to our Talk International editor, Isabel Oakeshott. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Your response to that news that potentially it looks like Donald Trump was right. If it's not done by Monday, all hell will break loose in the Middle East. Even his cynical critics would say, unbelievable. He's 5 days away from being inaugurated again, and something's happened, Isabel Oakeshott.
Well, it certainly looks that way, although we're very, very short on detail at the moment. I understand there's going to be a press conference in Qatar this evening. Presumably we'll get a lot more flesh on the bone when that happens. And we can be sure that the incoming president will claim almighty victory, if it's even half as good as it sounds. On the hostages, slightly ominously, the wording being touted around is, they will be returned alive or dead. So, unfortunately, not everybody is going to be handed over in the way that relatives have been longing for. And we just don't know yet whether any of this will actually come off, on the scale that is reported or expected or hoped for. But it does seem extremely positive at this point, and plenty of reasons to be optimistic.
I think that's the best way to describe it, and we'll certainly hear our Talk, keep you updated. Saying Talk's international editor, I have to start then with you with yet another flip-flopping U-turn from the world's worst prime minister. He seems to have ditched attempts to get his Chagos Islands deal, in brackets, sellout, which he wanted to get signed before the Trumpster takes office next week. Flip-flopping Downing Street PM says today, we'll not be signing off the agreement until the president-elect has a look at it. This is the Chagos Island, massively important for our security, for the free world's security, really. His idea, with his globalist ideological friends, was to give away the Chagos Islands. No idea why. Give it to Mauritius, but that's bad enough because it's a British territory. Mauritius quite close to China, but also give them £9 billion. Not quite sure what that's for, because we're screwed in this country and we could do with £9 billion. Certainly the pensioners are. Another flip-flop, Isabel, from our Prime Minister.
Well, this is an unusual case of a flip-flop I'm quite happy to wear. I'm very glad that...
Oh, we're all glad, but it just shows you how completely bloody incompetent Starmer is.
Well, like you, I quite like more illustrations of his incompetence, because if he does this every single day, then he and his party are going to be completely unelectable for a very long time. Now, unfortunately, that means we all have to live with the consequences for the next few years. But if one of the consequences of his total crashing, almost comical incompetence is that this Chagos deal, a terrible word for it, it's no kind of deal that I would recognise, blows up, then happy days. If it has to wait until Trump comes in, it's not going to go through in the form that Keir Starmer wants it to. I know that Nigel Farage has been pushing behind the scenes very hard for the incoming Trump administration to kibosh this deal on all the right grounds, because it's an outrage to the British people. We were never asked about it. There's never been a vote on it in the House of Commons. MPs were totally blindsided by this deal. Honestly, I think it was a treasonous deal.
Well, somebody said that earlier. Somebody came on the phone and said it's treason. He should be investigated by MI5 or MI6. So we had that, the Chagos deal. Apparently now he's more concerned about what Trump will do. That was flip-flop number 1 today. The other is this appalling story that came out this morning, which I'm sure you'd be happy to tell me your thoughts on, where they wanted to throw out a piece of Conservative legislation that basically said we're going to stop persecuting soldiers from 50 years ago in Northern Ireland and all that. But one of the reasons for throwing this out, one of the side effects of throwing it out, this piece of legislation, would be that vile creatures like Jerry Adams, the head of Sinn Féin, who was arrested and held whilst we investigated as a nation whether he was part of the IRA back in the 80s, could in fact sue this government for hundreds of thousands of pounds. And of course everybody went, hold on a minute, it's completely immoral. These poor soldiers who were protecting people's liberties are being screwed. People like Jerry Adams are getting money and the victims are being left behind. This afternoon, flip-flops off again. I am going to block compensation payments to Jerry Adams. Do you think this man has any plan or any idea of what he's going to say or do on a daily basis? Because I find it astonishing, Isabel, astonishing.
Well, look, this is a man who, even when he's got an auto cue in front of him, manages to call hostages sausages.
Can I do an impression? We must release the sausages. I mean, hostages.
And then there was his Nobel Peace Prize winner that turned into something to do with mobile phones earlier this week.
Yeah, that's sponsored by EE. That was another kick. I mean, honestly, the man's...
wow. I mean, one of the funniest things you said earlier is you said, is no one talking to this pillock? And you summed it up, didn't it? Is no one talking to this pillock or the pillocks around him?
I mean, I just don't understand why he wouldn't... I mean, this is my point, and I said on almost a daily basis. Either he is stupid or he thinks, I just want 5 years and I'm going to try and do what I do. There doesn't seem any understanding of his actions and what it means for this country and what it means for his popularity.
I literally think there's something missing there.
Yes.
I mean, clearly he isn't a stupid man, because you don't get to be director of public prosecution.
Well, I would respectfully suggest if you miss out on prosecuting Jimmy Savile, you're not great at your job, are you?
Well, I think there are many examples of him having done that job badly, but I don't think he's academically stupid. But the guy is not fit to run a country. He does not have the personality traits involved. And if he did, then Labour wouldn't be crashing in the polls, would it?
Mike says, hello both, I'm off shopping and I hope Morrison's give me a Chagos type deal and give me all my shopping for free and then pay me to take it bloody well home. That makes sense. Are you all right to hang around for a couple of calls? Are you very busy and beyond all that?
I love the calls. I love it.